Hey, welcome. Today we are jumping right into one of the first, and honestly, one of the most powerful tools you're going to learn in programming, the Python list. If you're just starting to code, really getting this concept down is your first huge step forward. So let's do it. So let's just think about this for a second. When you're writing code, you hardly ever want to deal with just one thing, right? You want to handle a bunch of friends' names or a whole shopping list, not just one item. So how does a computer actually manage a whole collection of things all at once? Well, that's the exact problem lists were made to solve. And the answer is a list. It's that simple. Just think of it like a digital shopping list or the Contacts app on your phone. It's one single thing with one name, but inside it can hold a whole bunch of different items. And, this is key, it remembers the exact order you put them in. Okay, enough talk. To really see how this works, we're going to build our very first list. We'll start with something nice and simple, using an exercise from our source material, just storing a few friends' names together in one place. And boom, there it is. That's it. This single line of code does everything we need. We've just created a list, we've called it names, and it's now holding 4 different pieces of text: Ali, Sarah, Ahmed, and Fatima. Super simple, really clean, and incredibly powerful. So let's break down exactly what's going on in that line. It's like a recipe. First, you give your list a name. We chose names. Then the equal sign. That's how you assign things. And then you get the really important parts, the square brackets. Those brackets are what scream, "Hey Python, this is a list." And finally, you just put your items inside, separating each one with a comma. That's the whole formula. Okay, awesome. We've successfully stored our friends' names. But, just storing information is only half the job. The real magic happens when we can actually get that information back out and use it. So how do we do that? And that brings us to the big question, right? We have 4 names all packed neatly inside our list. How do we reach in and pull out just one of them? How can we tell the computer, I want to talk to Ali, and not the rest of them? The answer is something called an index. Honestly, the best way to think of an index is like an address or a slot number for each and every item in the list. Every single item gets its own unique index number so we can find it whenever we want. Now, here it is. This is the most crucial, most important. Gotta remember this rule in all of programming. In Python, and pretty much everywhere else, counting does not start at 1. It starts at 0. The very first item in any list you ever make is always at index 0. Burn that into your brain. So looking at our list, this is how it works out. Ali is sitting at index 0. Sarah is at index 1. Ahmed is at 2. And Fatima is at index 3. You see? Even though there are 4 people in the list, the addresses, the indexes, only go from 0 up to 3. And now we can put it all together. To greet our first friend, we write out our message, and right where we want the name to pop in, we write names 0. Those square brackets with the 0 inside, that's us telling Python, go to the names list and give me the item that's at address 0. And check out the result. Python did exactly what we asked. It went to index 0, it found Ali, pulled that name out of the list, and dropped it right into our sentence. It worked perfectly. And once you see it, you realize it's just a pattern. If we want to greet our second friend, Sarah, all we have to do is change the index. We use names, 1, and that tells the computer to just grab the next item in line. And no surprise, the output is a perfect, personalized greeting for Sarah. Just by changing that one little number inside the brackets, we can pinpoint and access any item in our list. It doesn't matter if it's 4 items long or 4,000. All right, now that we've got the hang of it with names, let's talk about how flexible this whole thing is. Because this is the really cool part. Lists do not care what kind of information you put inside them. They're not just for names. Just look at this side by side. On the left, our friends list. On the right, a list of different ways to get around. Now, look closely at the code itself. Notice anything? It's exactly the same. The name, the equal sign, the square brackets, the commas. The content is different, but the rules are identical. So here's the full list from our source exercise, this time with different modes of transport. The principle is exactly the same. And you can probably already imagine making lists for your favorite movies or cities you want to visit. Anything you can think of can be grouped in a list. And using it? Well, you already know how to do this. It's the same pattern we just learned. To get the first item out, We just use the list's name, transportation, and ask for whatever is at index 0. And the result is a perfectly built sentence using that first item from our transportation list. This proves it. Once you learn how to use a list, you can use that skill on any kind of data you ever need to organize. It's a universal tool. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground pretty quickly here. So let's just pause for a second and really lock in the most important points from all this. These are the core rules that you're going to want to remember. So here are the essentials. Number 1, lists are for grouping related things together. You always create them with square brackets. The items you put inside, always separated by commas. To get a specific item out, you use its index number, also in square brackets. And the golden rule? What is it? The first item's index is always, always 0. So you've learned to build a list and to pull items out one by one, which is an amazing start. But think about our code. We had to write a separate print line for Ollie and then another one for Sarah. What if your list had 100 friends or 1,000? There's no way you're going to write 1,000 lines of code. So the big question to leave you with is this: how could you make the computer greet everyone in your list with just one single command? That's the next step on your journey, and that is where the real power of programming truly begins.